What if I told you that you're sitting on a gold mine, yet every single night, you walk away from it empty-handed? What if I told you that while your body rests, your mind could be busy writing checks the universe is waiting to cash? Sounds impossible. Maybe. But stay with me. Because tonight, you're going to discover a secret most people will never hear in their lifetime. The truth is, the richest part of your day isn't when you're working. It isn't when you're grinding, hustling, or stressing. The richest part of your day is when your conscious mind finally lets go. When you're asleep. Why? Because sleep is the backstage pass to your subconscious. And your subconscious is the CEO of your destiny. It decides what you attract, what you reject, and what you settle for. Even when you're awake. Let me ask you something. Have you ever gone to bed worried about money, and woken up feeling heavy, drained, like the whole world is against you? That wasn't an accident. That was your subconscious doing overtime, programming scarcity into your reality. But here's the game changer. What if, instead, you fed your subconscious wealth, abundance, and limitless possibilities right before you closed your eyes? Imagine falling asleep with visions of the life you want. Your dream house, your bank account overflowing, your freedom untouchable. What do you think your subconscious would do with that? It would start building it. Quietly, silently, relentlessly. See, your subconscious is like fertile soil. Whatever seed you plant before sleep, it grows. If you plant fear, you'll harvest struggle. If you plant wealth, you'll harvest opportunity. It doesn't argue. It doesn't judge. It just delivers. Think of it like this: most people use sleep as an escape from their problems. The wealthy use sleep as a factory to build their future. They know that in those hours, their mind is rehearsing tomorrow's reality. And here's the best part. It's simple. Before bed, instead of scrolling your phone, stressing about bills, or replaying today's failures, you reprogram your night. You speak abundance. You visualize prosperity. You let gratitude be your lullaby. And as you drift, you're not just sleeping. You're manifesting. It's like setting your GPS before a long drive. If you don't, you'll wake up lost. But if you lock in the destination, your subconscious will take you there, step by step, opportunity by opportunity. And I know what some of you are thinking. But is it really that easy? Let me tell you, this money follows mindset. Always. You've seen people who attract opportunities everywhere they go. It's not luck. It's alignment. Their subconscious is tuned to abundance, and reality simply mirrors it. Let me give you an example. A friend of mine used to fall asleep every night replaying his failures. He was broke, tired, and stuck. I told him, change the script. Feed your mind wealth before sleep. He started listening to affirmations, visualizing his dream business, and practicing gratitude for things he didn't even have yet. Within 6 months, his business idea took off. Within a year, he was earning more in a month than he used to in a year. Did the money appear overnight? No. But the shift did. His subconscious began pulling the right people, ideas, and timing into his path. That's the power of manifesting money in your sleep. So tonight I challenge you. Before you close your eyes, don't just go to bed. Go to work. Quiet work. Invisible work. The kind of work that pays dividends you'll never stop collecting. Ask yourself, what do I want my subconscious to build tonight? And then plant the seed. Visualize it. Speak it. Feel it. Because the universe doesn't respond to empty wishes. It responds to aligned energy. Your pillow is not just where you rest. It's your command center. And every single night, you have a choice. Do I program scarcity or abundance? Do I let fear run the night or wealth build my future? So here's my final word. Don't just dream in your sleep. Design. Don't just rest in your sleep. Build. Don't just close your eyes tonight. Open the doors of your future. Because you are not just going to bed. You are going to manifest. You are going to multiply. You are going to wake up richer, in every sense of the word. And when people ask you, how did you do it? A smile. Because they'll never know the truth. That while the world was asleep, you were creating wealth in silence. Welcome to the circle of those who manifest money in their sleep. Your subconscious mind is most active and programmable during sleep. What you think and feel before sleeping sets the tone for your reality. Negative thoughts before bed reinforce scarcity and struggle. Positive visualization and affirmations before sleep plant seeds of abundance. Wealthy people use sleep as a tool to align with prosperity, not just to rest. Each night is an opportunity to design your future. Your pillow is your command center. Imagine lying in bed at night, the lights turned off, the world outside quiet, yet your mind buzzing with thoughts that refuse to let you rest. You replay the day's mistakes, the bills that need paying, the arguments that left a sting in your chest, the endless what-ifs that circle like vultures over your head. You toss, you turn, you sigh, and finally, exhaustion pulls you under. But even as you sleep, those thoughts, the fears, the worries, the doubts, don't disappear. They sink deeper, slipping beneath the surface of your awareness, planting themselves like seeds in the soil of your subconscious. And what you may not realize is that while your body is resting, those seeds are growing, quietly shaping your reality for the days, weeks, even years to come. This is the hidden truth. The richest part of your day is not when you are awake and hustling, not when you're grinding at your job or scrolling through opportunities online, not even when you're brainstorming ideas or planning your future. The richest part of your day is when your conscious mind finally lets go and your subconscious takes the wheel. The hours you spend asleep are not wasted hours. They are not empty space between one day and the next. They are the most powerful hours of your life, if you know how to use them. Think of the subconscious as the CEO behind the curtain, the unseen decision maker that influences everything you do. While you are awake, your conscious mind, the assistant, the messenger, the front office, gets all the attention. You believe you are in control, making choices, directing your life. But when night comes, when the assistant goes home and the office closes, the CEO is left alone, quietly issuing orders, shaping strategies, and laying down the blueprint for your future. And unlike the conscious mind, the subconscious doesn't argue. It doesn't analyze or critique. It simply accepts whatever you feed it and works tirelessly to make it real. Picture this: two people go to sleep in the same city, at the same hour. One lies in bed replaying his failures, whispering to himself, "I'll never get out of debt. I'll never have enough. I'm just not cut out for success." He drifts off with those words echoing in his mind, and his subconscious accepts them as instructions, just as a gardener accepts seeds to plant. The other person, however, closes his eyes with a different script. He visualizes his goals as if they're already achieved. He whispers affirmations of wealth, gratitude, and possibility. He sees himself free, thriving, surrounded by abundance. His subconscious, too, accepts those instructions without question. Both sleep for 8 hours. Both wake up to a new day. But one wakes up poorer in spirit, dragging the weight of scarcity forward, while the other wakes up subtly richer, with energy aligned to opportunities, with his subconscious already guiding him toward the doors that will open. The difference is invisible in the moment, but monumental over time. It is the same difference between someone who constantly dreams of freedom, yet never escapes their cage, and someone who designs freedom in their sleep, and then finds themselves walking into it when the chance appears. That chance was not luck. It was the subconscious, programmed during the richest hours of the day, quietly steering reality toward alignment. When we say the subconscious is the richest part of the day, we mean it is the silent vault where wealth is first deposited. The conscious mind works like the cashier, counting bills and coins, stressing over balances, constantly aware of lack or gain. But the subconscious is the vault. It holds the essence, the truth, the power to multiply what enters. Feed it fear and fear multiplies. Feed it wealth, and wealth multiplies. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Those words are not just ancient wisdom. They are a blueprint for how reality bends to the whispers of the subconscious heart. You may remember a night when you went to bed anxious about an exam, a job interview, or a financial burden, and somehow you woke up already defeated, before the day even began. That was no coincidence. Your subconscious rehearsed defeat for hours, imprinting it so deeply that by the time you woke up, you were carrying the vibration of loss without even realizing it. On the other hand, think of a time you went to bed after an inspiring conversation, or after receiving good news, or while dreaming of a possibility so vivid it felt real. You woke up lighter, sharper, more energized. That, too, was no accident. Your subconscious rehearsed success all night, leaving you aligned with the energy of achievement the next morning. A man once told me, I realized my nights were deciding my days. He was an entrepreneur struggling to grow his business. Every evening he obsessed over his failures, staring at spreadsheets, drowning in doubt. Sleep became a battlefield. Then, after hearing this truth about the subconscious, he decided to try something new. He shut off his laptop an hour before bed. He replaced stress with gratitude, writing down 3 small wins from the day. He visualized his business thriving, not vaguely but vividly, customers smiling, money flowing, freedom expanding. At first, nothing seemed to change. But within months, he began waking with ideas, energy, and focus he hadn't felt in years. He noticed opportunities he used to overlook. He attracted partnerships that once seemed out of reach. And when he traced it back, he said, "It was like my nights rewrote my days." The richest part of your day is not when you're awake and forcing life to happen. It is when you're asleep and allowing the hidden part of your mind to build, create, and align. Sleep is not the absence of action. It is the birthplace of manifestation. While your conscious mind sleeps, your subconscious is wide awake, making phone calls to the universe, arranging coincidences, drawing maps for your destiny. And yet, most people treat sleep as nothing more than a pause button, a black hole where nothing matters. They go to bed angry, worried, or distracted, not realizing they're programming their most powerful hours with poison. The question you must ask yourself is simply, what script will I feed my subconscious tonight? Will I go to sleep bankrupt in thought and wake up bankrupt in reality? Or will I treat my nights as the sacred hours they truly are, where every thought is a seed and every seed is a future? Because if the richest part of your day is sleep, then the quality of your future depends on how you use it. And the truth is, you don't need money in your pocket right now to plant the seeds of wealth. You don't need the perfect circumstances, the perfect job, or the perfect plan. You only need to master the hours when your conscious mind steps aside. Because those hours decide whether you are running toward freedom or away from it, whether you are attracting wealth or repelling it, whether you are waking up into possibility or into scarcity. The richest part of your day is not in the grind. It's in the silence. It's in the surrender. It's in those unseen hours when you are asleep. But your future is wide awake, waiting for the instructions you give it. And that is why the moment you close your eyes at night may be the most valuable moment you will ever own. Have you ever noticed how the very last thoughts you hold before drifting off to sleep seem to follow you into the next day? It's not just coincidence. It's not random. It's the quiet but powerful truth that what you think and feel before sleeping sets the tone for your reality. It's almost as if the mind takes a photograph of your last emotions, your final words, your deepest worries, and then hands that picture to your subconscious, saying, "Here, this is the blueprint. Build tomorrow out of this." And so you wake up not fresh and renewed, but carrying the weight of yesterday's final thoughts like a heavy coat draped across your shoulders. Imagine 2 different nights. On one, you lay in bed replaying every mistake you made during the day. You think of the bills that are due, the opportunities you missed, the people who disappointed you. You mutter under your breath, "I'm tired of this. Nothing ever changes." With those words and emotions, you drift into sleep. Now, picture another night. You close your eyes and, despite the challenges of the day, you whisper, "I'm grateful I made it through. I'm grateful for the small wins. Tomorrow will be better." You visualize the life you want, the abundance you desire, as if it's already in your hands. You feel the warmth of that possibility, and with that feeling, you drift into sleep. Same bed, same hours, same person. But when morning comes, the outcomes are completely different. One version of you wakes up with heaviness, irritation, and a shadow of hopelessness already painted across the day. The other version of you wakes up with lightness, energy, and an invisible compass pulling you toward opportunities. The difference: the photograph your subconscious received before you slept. It's like programming a GPS. If you set it toward lack, frustration, and fear, your subconscious will guide you straight to them. If you set it toward abundance, gratitude, and possibility, your subconscious will quietly adjust your direction until you find yourself walking into them without even realizing how. That's the power of what you think and feel before sleeping. A friend once told me, "I didn't realize my nights were sabotaging my mornings." She had been stuck in a cycle of stress and scarcity, falling asleep every night with her heart pounding and her mind replaying debts. She'd wake up already exhausted, dragging her body into another draining day. When she shifted her focus at night, everything began to change. She started with something simple, writing down 3 things she was grateful for before bed. She imagined her bank account full, even when it wasn't. She spoke abundance into the darkness of her room. At first, it felt fake, even silly. But then something shifted. She began waking up lighter, noticing new possibilities, receiving unexpected opportunities. Within months, her financial life began to turn. She said, "It wasn't the mornings that changed, it was the nights. My mornings just followed." Think of the subconscious as a loyal assistant. It doesn't decide what's best for you, it simply takes orders. And the orders are given in your final moments of awareness. If you say, "I'm broke, I'm stuck, life is unfair," it files those instructions and begins working overnight to bring them to life. If instead you say, "I am abundant, I am attracting wealth, I am capable," it files those instructions too, and begins arranging reality accordingly. It's like the story of a gardener who goes to plant seeds at night. If he plants weeds, weeds will grow. If he plants flowers, flowers will bloom. The soil doesn't judge. It doesn't ask questions. It just grows whatever is planted. Your subconscious works exactly the same way. Think back to a time when you went to bed angry. Maybe after a fight, a disappointment, or a stressful day. You fell asleep tense, your mind buzzing with negative energy. Did you notice how the next morning felt like a continuation of that mood? Almost like the fight didn't end with sleep, but seeped into the new day, coloring everything with frustration. Now, remember a night when you went to bed after something joyful. Good news, laughter with friends, a sense of accomplishment. You slept with a smile, and the next morning, the world seemed brighter, people seemed kinder, and everything felt easier. This is not chance. This is the subconscious amplifying your last emotions and using them as fuel for the day ahead. The late Wayne Dyer once said, "Never go to sleep without a request to your subconscious." He understood that the mind is like a genie at night, listening carefully to your last wish. Most people waste it on worry, fear, and regret. But those who understand the secret use those final moments wisely, planting images and words of abundance, success, and gratitude. They treat the edge of sleep like the doorway to a vault, whispering their desires into it, knowing the subconscious will begin to design reality from those whispers. Let's make it real with a simple story. There was a young man who dreamed of financial freedom, but always fell asleep thinking about the money he didn't have. "I can't do this," he'd mutter. "I'll never get ahead." Every morning he woke up heavy, repeating the same cycle. One day he decided to test something different. Before bed, he wrote a sentence on a piece of paper: "I am wealthy. Opportunities flow to me easily." He read it aloud, closed his eyes, and pictured his future life. The house he wanted, the freedom he craved, the joy he desired. Night after night, he repeated the ritual. At first, nothing happened. But then, like a shift in the wind, doors began opening. He was offered a side project that turned into a steady income stream. He met people who introduced him to ideas he had never considered. Within a year, his life looked completely different. And when he reflected, he said, "It was the moment I changed my nights that my days began to change." This is why what you think and feel before sleeping is so powerful. Your final words are not whispers into the dark. They are instructions to your future. Your last emotions are not forgotten. They are amplified. And your subconscious, tireless and obedient, works through the night to deliver them. Every evening is an opportunity to reset, to plant seeds of abundance, to script a tomorrow richer than today. But if you ignore this, if you carelessly hand over fear, doubt, and scarcity, your subconscious will do what it always does. It will obey. It will create more of the same. So when you lay your head on the pillow tonight, remember this. You're not just closing your eyes. You're opening the vault of your future. And the question is, what will you put inside? Will it be fear? Or will it be abundance? Will it be doubt? Or will it be possibility? Will you carry yesterday's struggles into tomorrow? Or will you plant tonight's gratitude into a harvest that never ends? The choice is always yours, and the consequences always follow, because what you think and feel before sleeping does not stay in the night. It follows you into the day, into your actions, into your results, into your life. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to let negative thoughts sneak in just before sleep? You're lying there, the room is dark, your body is still, and suddenly your mind begins replaying the bills you can't pay, the mistakes you made, the opportunities you missed. It feels small, almost harmless, like just a moment of reflection. But what you may not realize is that those negative thoughts are not innocent. They are not passing clouds. They are seeds. And when you plant them in the soil of your subconscious right before you sleep, they grow into entire forests of scarcity and struggle that you wake up inside the next morning. Negative thoughts before bed are like poison in the bloodstream of your reality. They seep into the subconscious, and the subconscious, loyal and unquestioning, takes them as truth. It doesn't argue, it doesn't reject, it simply builds based on what it has been fed. Imagine this. A woman goes to sleep every night thinking, "I'll never get out of this cycle. I'm always behind. Life is just too hard." She whispers those words silently in her heart, and as she drifts into unconsciousness, her mind repeats them like a lullaby of defeat. She doesn't see it, but her subconscious is busy at work, creating a filter through which she will see her world the next day. She will wake up and notice problems more than solutions. She will attract situations that confirm her belief that life is too hard. She will miss opportunities because her subconscious has already decided they don't belong to her. And each night, the cycle repeats. Her mind rehearses lack until lack becomes her identity. Now picture another person in the same city, the same night, lying in bed with the same unpaid bills, but instead of giving his final thoughts to fear, he chooses to let gratitude guide him. He whispers, "I made it through today. I'm thankful for the roof over my head. I know abundance is on its way." He doesn't deny reality, but he refuses to hand his subconscious poison to grow. He hands it seeds of possibility, and as he sleeps, his subconscious begins to open doors. He wakes up lighter, more attentive, more creative. Where others see obstacles, he notices pathways. Where others shrink in fear, he feels a subtle confidence pushing him forward. And little by little, the reality he lives in starts to reflect the seeds he planted the night before. The bills don't vanish overnight, but the solutions, the ideas, the strength to overcome, those arrive. Because instead of letting negative thoughts corrupt his nights, he gave his subconscious something better to work with. There is an old saying, "Your mind is a garden, your thoughts are the seeds. You can grow flowers or you can grow weeds." Think about that for a moment. Every night, when you close your eyes, you hand your subconscious a basket of seeds. Do you hand it flowers or weeds? Gratitude or worry? Abundance or fear? Whatever you hand over, the soil accepts. And the thing about weeds is that they grow fast. One small seed of doubt, "I'll never make it," planted night after night, becomes an overgrown jungle of self-sabotage. One recurring thought, "I don't deserve wealth," becomes a wall that keeps opportunity away. The subconscious doesn't ask, "Do you really mean this? Are you sure?" It simply obeys. I once met a man who said, "I didn't realize my own mind was making me poor." Every night, he went to bed complaining in his head about his job, about the economy, about how unfair life was. He thought he was just venting, releasing tension. But his subconscious wasn't treating it as venting. It was treating it as a command. Bring more struggle. Confirm his belief. Filter his world to match what he says. And that's exactly what happened. He stayed stuck for years until one day he understood that his nightly thoughts were programming his reality. When he shifted his focus, when he stopped planting weeds, doors opened. His life didn't change in a single night, but his trajectory did. Because the poison was replaced with medicine, and the soil of his subconscious finally had a chance to grow something good. Science even backs this up. Studies have shown that the subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between what is vividly imagined and what is real. So when you go to sleep rehearsing negative scenarios, your subconscious treats them as reality, embedding them deep into your identity. You wake up and live as if those fears are already true. That's why you feel drained, stuck, and powerless. On the other hand, when you feed your mind positive images and thoughts before sleep, the subconscious also treats them as reality. It begins searching for alignment, pulling circumstances, people, and ideas into your life to make them true. It is not magic, It is programming, and programming works, whether you feed it lies of fear or visions of abundance. Think of your mind as a loyal worker who never sleeps. You are the boss, giving instructions before you leave the office each night. If you say, "Things are falling apart, nothing works," your worker spends the night building evidence for that. If you say, "I am growing, I am attracting wealth, I am open to opportunities," your worker spends the night laying bricks toward that future. The worker doesn't argue. The worker doesn't improvise. The worker simply obeys. So the question is, what orders are you leaving before you close the office each night? There's a reason why some people seem to attract bad luck constantly. It's not that the universe hates them. It's that they are unknowingly rehearsing negativity every night before bed, turning their subconscious into a magnet for problems. And there's a reason why others, even in difficult circumstances, manage to attract growth, wealth, and opportunities. It's not blind luck, it's deliberate planting. It's choosing not to let poison thoughts linger in the final moments before sleep, and instead handing the subconscious images of prosperity to nurture. Negative thoughts are not harmless. They are architects. They sketch blueprints, build foundations, and design walls around your potential. They build the very house you wake up in each morning. And if you don't take control of those thoughts before sleep, you will spend your days living in a house of struggle that you unknowingly built in the dark. But the opposite is also true. If you choose to plant abundance, gratitude, and wealth before you sleep, your subconscious will build a mansion of possibilities that you can wake up inside. So tonight, when the lights go out and your head rests on the pillow, notice the thoughts that come. Notice the stories you tell yourself in those final minutes. And remember, they are not harmless. They are seeds. They are blueprints. They are the orders you're giving to the most powerful force inside you. If you don't like the house you're waking up in, change the blueprint. Refuse to let poison seep into your subconscious, because negative thoughts before bed are not just dreams. They are destiny in disguise, waiting to be built. Picture your mind right before sleep as a vast, quiet field at dusk. The noise of the day is fading, the world is slowing, and the soil of your subconscious lies open, waiting. In those fragile, golden minutes, you have the power to decide what you will plant. And here is the unshakable truth: positive visualization and affirmations before sleep plant seeds of abundance that your subconscious cannot ignore. They slip past the defenses of the conscious mind, bypass doubt, bypass logic, and sink deep into the part of you that shapes your reality. The subconscious does not ask if the seed is true. It simply takes it in and begins to make it so. Imagine lying in bed, closing your eyes, and seeing yourself in the future you dream of. Not vaguely, not with hesitation, but with clarity so strong you can almost taste it. You see yourself holding the keys to your new home, stepping into rooms filled with warmth and light. You picture the numbers in your bank account, not in scarcity but in overflow, the kind that brings peace rather than stress. You see yourself traveling, giving, building, living freely. The more vividly you imagine it, the more your subconscious believes it is already happening. And as you drift to sleep, your mind begins to align your actions, your choices, and even the opportunities around you to bring that vision to life. This is not daydreaming. This is not idle fantasy. This is deliberate creation. Affirmations and visualization are like the language of the subconscious. They are the instructions it understands best. When you affirm, "I am abundant, I attract wealth, I am worthy," your subconscious hears it as fact. It does not argue. It does not delay. It begins rearranging the unseen details of your life to match. When you visualize, you are giving your subconscious a picture to follow, like a map. Without that map, it wanders aimlessly, repeating the same old patterns. With that map, it knows exactly where to go. Think about athletes at the highest level: Olympians, world champions, professionals who dedicate their lives to performance. Almost all of them use visualization before they sleep. They imagine the race, the shot, the perfect swing. They see themselves winning before they step onto the field. Why? Because their subconscious cannot tell the difference between what is vividly imagined and what is real. And when the moment comes, their body, their mind, their reflexes perform as if they've already done it. The same principle applies to wealth, abundance, and success. If you rehearse poverty in your mind, you live it. If you rehearse prosperity, you draw it closer with every thought. I once spoke to a woman who had struggled with debt for years. She felt trapped, suffocated by the numbers she couldn't escape. Every night she would fall asleep in tears, whispering, "I'll never be free of this." Until one day she decided to change the script. Instead of rehearsing her struggle, she began rehearsing her freedom. She closed her eyes each night and visualized opening a letter that said, "Paid in full." She imagined herself cutting up the last credit card, feeling relief, joy, and freedom in her chest. She affirmed every night, "I am debt-free, I am free to live fully, I am abundant." At first, it felt fake, but her subconscious did not know the difference. It accepted those seeds and began to align her reality. Within 2 years, she was debt-free, not because magic erased her bills, but because her mind began to notice opportunities she had once ignored. Her energy shifted. Her choices sharpened. Her subconscious, programmed night after night, built a reality to match the picture she planted. Affirmations are not just words, they are anchors. When you say, "I am abundant," your conscious mind might argue, "No, you're not. Look at your bank account." But when you repeat it consistently before sleep, the conscious guard finally drops, and the subconscious receives it as truth. And once the subconscious accepts something as truth, it works with unshakable determination to make it real. Visualization is not just about pictures. It is about emotion. If you simply say, "I want wealth," without feeling, it remains hollow. But if you lie in bed and imagine yourself free, imagine the peace, the joy, the laughter, the ease that wealth brings, then the subconscious is moved not just by words but by energy. Energy is the true signal it responds to. That's why gratitude is so powerful. It combines thought with emotion, creating a frequency that the subconscious magnifies into reality. Think of your subconscious as a construction crew. Every night, you hand it blueprints. If you hand it a crumpled paper filled with fear and doubt, it builds instability. But if you hand it a clear, vivid drawing of abundance, filled with detailed affirmations and emotions, it builds strength, wealth, and opportunity. The crew doesn't decide. It doesn't negotiate. It builds what it's given. There's a story of Jim Carrey, the actor, who famously wrote himself a check for $10 million when he was broke and struggling. He dated it for a few years into the future and kept it in his wallet. Every night, he visualized himself receiving roles, signing contracts, living as if the wealth was already his. Years later, he landed roles that paid him exactly what he had imagined. Was it luck, or was it the subconscious, fueled by repeated visualization and affirmations, aligning the world around him? The lesson is clear: plant the seed, and reality will find a way to grow it. If negative thoughts before sleep are poison, then positive affirmations and visualization are medicine. They heal the cracks, they nourish the soil, they direct the subconscious toward life instead of decay. But like any medicine, they must be taken consistently. One night of visualization will not erase years of scarcity programming, but night after night, repetition becomes belief, and belief becomes reality. So imagine this. Tonight, instead of scrolling endlessly on your phone, instead of worrying about tomorrow's problems, you close your eyes and begin to design. You see the life you want as if it's happening now. You feel gratitude for it as if it's already yours. You speak affirmations not as wishes, but as declarations. And as you drift into sleep, you're not just resting, you're planting, you're building, you're creating. The night becomes your workshop, your subconscious becomes your architect, and your dreams become the blueprints of your waking life. Because every night, you have a choice: feed your subconscious fear or feed it abundance. Plant weeds or plant flowers. Poison your future or design it. And when you choose affirmations and visualization, you are choosing to plant wealth, freedom, and prosperity in the deepest part of yourself, knowing that one day, those seeds will break through the soil and become the reality you wake up to. Think for a moment about how most people treat sleep. To them, it's nothing more than a break, an escape, a few hours of shutting down until the alarm rings. They collapse into bed, drained from the day, and drift off with no thought about what's happening in their mind. But the wealthy, the visionaries, the creators, they see sleep differently. They see it as a tool, a secret workshop where reality is shaped long before it arrives. While the average person uses sleep to forget their problems, the wealthy use it to build solutions. While some waste the night in chaos, others use it as the most important meeting of their day. The meeting with their subconscious. This is the difference that changes everything. Think of it like a farmer. One farmer looks at the night as a time to rest and do nothing. He leaves his field unattended, the soil empty, the weeds free to grow. Another farmer, however, understands that nighttime is when the soil is richest. He plants seeds under the cover of darkness, knowing that by morning, growth has already begun. Which farmer do you think will reap abundance when the season changes? The one who planted. Wealthy people treat their mind in the same way. Sleep is not wasted hours. Sleep is when the seeds are planted. The subconscious becomes the soil, and every thought, every image, every affirmation before bed becomes the seed of tomorrow's harvest. I once met a businessman who told me, "My greatest deals didn't happen in the boardroom. They started in my dreams." He wasn't exaggerating. Every night, before bed, he would picture himself negotiating, succeeding, closing opportunities. He would imagine the people he wanted to meet, the ideas he wanted to bring to life, the abundance he wanted to hold. He went to sleep rehearsing his success, and by the time morning came, his subconscious had already accepted those visions as truth. He noticed details others ignored. He connected dots that seemed invisible. He walked into meetings with a quiet confidence that came not from practice alone, but from having lived the victory hundreds of times in his mind. He understood what so few do. Sleep is not passive, it's powerful. Most people use their nights to replay their failures. They go to bed saying, "I messed up again. I'll never make it. Tomorrow will be just as hard." Their subconscious hears it and begins building more struggle. The wealthy use those same hours differently. They treat them as a factory for abundance. They don't fall asleep rehearsing lack. They rehearse wealth. They go to bed asking, "What do I want to create? What opportunities do I want to see? What kind of life am I building?" And their subconscious, like a loyal worker, gets to work producing answers. There's a story of Thomas Edison, the great inventor, who often spoke about using the twilight state before sleep to generate ideas. He believed that when the conscious mind relaxed, the subconscious opened the door to inspiration. He would hold a steel ball in his hand as he drifted off in a chair, and when he fell asleep, the ball would drop, waking him up. In that fragile moment between waking and sleeping, countless ideas came to him, ideas that would later shape history. He knew what many overlook: the mind is not idle during rest. It is more awake than ever, searching, creating, connecting. The wealthy of every generation have understood this, even if they didn't put it into words. Picture your subconscious as a 24-hour construction crew. When you're awake, you are the architect, handing out blueprints, sketching designs. But when you go to sleep, you leave the site, and the crew keeps working. If you gave them no plan, they build nothing. If you gave them confusion, they build chaos. But if you hand them a clear blueprint filled with abundance, gratitude, and vision, they work through the night to construct a reality that matches. And when you return in the morning, you step into a world already moving toward the design you left behind. This is why wealthy people often talk about intuition, about gut feelings, about opportunities that seem to appear out of nowhere. It isn't magic. It's the result of nights spent aligning their subconscious with wealth and abundance. Their subconscious does not sleep. It filters the world, noticing opportunities others miss, because it has been programmed to. It's like having a radar tuned to prosperity. Where others see only noise, they see signals. Where others feel lost, they feel guided. And it all comes back to how they treat their sleep. I once heard someone say, "The poor go to bed to escape life. The wealthy go to bed to design life." Think about that. When you treat sleep as nothing more than escape, you miss the chance to rewrite your future. But when you treat it as design, as creation, as manifestation, you wake up to a reality shaped by your own intention. The wealthy understand that abundance doesn't start in the bank account, it starts in the mind. And the best time to plant it is when the conscious mind is quiet and the subconscious is wide open. There's a famous story about Nikola Tesla, another brilliant mind, who often credited his inventions to visions he received in states of deep rest and imagination. He would visualize machines in perfect detail before ever building them, and by the time he touched them in real life, he already knew they worked. That's what happens when you program your subconscious during sleep. It becomes not just a dreamer but a builder. Now imagine yourself. Every night, as you lay down, you have two choices. You can use sleep as the average person does. An escape, a pause button, a moment of relief. Or you can use it as the wealthy do, as a factory of abundance, a rehearsal for success. A quiet creation space where tomorrow's victories are born. The difference is not in the number of hours you sleep, but in the quality of what you feed your mind before you close your eyes. So ask yourself, what if you started treating sleep like the wealthiest people do? What if you made those final moments sacred? What if, instead of fear and scarcity, you filled your mind with visions of freedom, affirmations of abundance, gratitude for what is coming? What would your subconscious build if you handed it a blueprint of wealth every single night? The answer is simple: it would build exactly that. Because while you sleep, your subconscious never rests. It is listening, it is constructing, it is aligning. And when you wake up, the life you step into is nothing more than the echo of the seeds you planted the night before. Wealthy people know this. That is why they guard their nights. Why they script their final thoughts, why they treat sleep not as an escape but as a workshop. They know that dreams are not empty. They are blueprints. And those blueprints, repeated night after night, become the architecture of reality. So tonight, when you close your eyes, remember this truth: you are not just falling asleep. You are entering the workshop of your future, and whether that future is filled with scarcity or abundance, depends entirely on what you decide to plant in the silence of your dreams. Imagine this. You wake up one morning and something feels different. You can't explain it, but your energy is sharper, your focus is clearer, and your decisions suddenly seem effortless. You walk into your day, and opportunities appear as if they were waiting just for you. The right people call at the right time, the right doors open at the right moment, and you find yourself flowing instead of fighting. It feels almost supernatural, but it isn't magic, it's alignment. Alignment is when your thoughts, your beliefs, your feelings, and your actions are no longer pulling in different directions. It's when the inner and the outer finally match, and wealth begins to flow not as a struggle but as a natural extension of who you are. Most people live misaligned. They say they want wealth, but they believe they're not worthy of it. They say they want abundance, but they speak words of lack. They visualize success, but they act out of fear. It's like trying to row a boat with one oar pulling left and the other pulling right. You stay in the same spot, exhausted, frustrated, wondering why nothing changes. But wealthy people know the secret: alignment is the hidden engine. They understand that when the mind, the heart, and the actions agree, manifestation becomes effortless. Think of it like tuning a radio. If the dial is even slightly off, all you hear is static. But when you hit the right frequency, suddenly the music comes through loud and clear. Alignment is hitting the right frequency with life itself. The wealthy don't just want money. They believe they deserve it, they feel what it will be like, and they act as though it's already theirs. That's why opportunities flow to them, because life is always responding to the frequency we're tuned to. I once heard a story of a young woman who dreamed of becoming a successful writer. She filled notebooks with her ideas, her visions, her desires. Every night before bed, she would imagine signing her books, speaking to audiences, changing lives with her words. But here's the difference. She didn't just dream it, she aligned with it. She started treating herself as an author before the world recognized her as one. She set her alarm early, wrote every day, spoke with confidence about her future, and most importantly, she believed that her success was inevitable. She said, "I didn't hope for it, I decided it." Years later, her books became bestsellers. Her dreams weren't born in the morning, they were built in the alignment she practiced at night. When you align with wealth, you stop chasing it. You attract it. You stop living from desperation, and you start living from creation. The wealthy understand this deeply. They don't panic over missed opportunities, because they know that aligned opportunities cannot pass them by. They don't scramble in fear, because they know that their energy attracts what is meant for them. It's why some people seem to live in a constant cycle of abundance. They are aligned. So life mirrors that alignment back to them. I remember a man who lost everything in a financial crash. His friends said he was finished. They told him to accept his new reality of struggle. But he refused to break alignment. Every night he went to bed imagining himself rebuilding, feeling gratitude as if the recovery had already happened. He spoke abundance in conversations where others spoke despair. He carried himself with the same energy he had when he was thriving, and little by little, doors opened again. Within years, he was wealthier than before. He once said, "My bank account emptied, but my alignment never did. That's why I rose again." Alignment is powerful because it bypasses the limits of time. You don't have to wait for wealth to feel wealthy. You don't have to wait for success to act successful. You don't have to wait for freedom to live free. The moment you align with it, the energy shifts. Your decisions change. Your habits shift. The world begins to bend toward the blueprint you're holding. That's why wealthy people guard their inner state so fiercely. They know that one thought of scarcity can pull the dial off frequency. One seed of doubt can weaken the soil of abundance. Imagine walking into a party. There are dozens of conversations happening, but you only notice the one that says your name. That's how alignment works. When you're aligned with wealth, you only notice the opportunities that match that wealth. Others may pass them by, blind to their existence, but your subconscious zeroes in. It's not coincidence. It's alignment filtering your reality. But alignment isn't just about thought. It's about consistency. You can't visualize abundance at night and complain about lack during the day. You can't say you believe in wealth, but sabotage yourself with fear-filled choices. Alignment demands integrity between the inner and outer worlds. The wealthy practice this integrity like a discipline. They rehearse gratitude even in moments of uncertainty. They practice generosity even before wealth arrives. They speak as if the future is already secured. And because they align every part of themselves with that truth, the future follows their lead. There's a quote I once heard that captures this perfectly. Energy flows where attention goes. If your attention is scattered, some on fear, some on doubt, some on hope, you scatter your energy too. But when your attention is locked in alignment, all of life bends to it. That is why alignment feels like magic, though it is not magic at all. It is simply focus, consistency, and belief carried without contradiction. Now picture yourself. What if every night before bed you didn't just visualize wealth, but you aligned with it? What if you whispered to yourself, "I am worthy of abundance. I am grateful for the wealth that is already mine. I am living in overflow"? And what if you carried that same energy into the morning, into your words, into your choices? Do you see how quickly the world around you would begin to shift? It wouldn't be luck. It wouldn't be chance. It would be alignment pulling you onto the frequency where wealth already exists. And perhaps the most beautiful part of alignment is this: it doesn't only create wealth, it creates peace. It removes the constant tug of war inside the mind. It stops the endless doubt and replaces it with certainty. The wealthy often seem calm in the face of chaos, not because they have no fear, but because they are aligned. They know that what they believe, what they feel, and what they act upon are moving in the same direction, and that direction leads inevitably to abundance. So as you close your eyes tonight, remember this: sleep is not an escape, it is the moment where alignment is cemented. Your subconscious will not ask questions. It will simply accept what you give it. If you go to bed in fear, it will build fear. If you go to bed in doubt, it will build obstacles. But if you go to bed aligned with wealth, aligned with gratitude, aligned with certainty, it will build bridges where others see walls, and you will rise not by force but by flow. Wealthy people know this. That is why they treat alignment as their most sacred practice, the secret frequency that turns dreams into reality. And when you tune into it, night after night, you'll find that the life you once chased is the life already waiting for you. So here is the truth you cannot afford to ignore. Every night you are planting something. Every night your mind is sowing seeds. Every night your subconscious is creating tomorrow. The only question is, what are you planting? Fear or faith? Scarcity or abundance? Doubt or destiny? Do not wait for the right time. Do not wait for the perfect moment. The right time is tonight. The perfect moment is now. Your life will not change because you wish it to. It will change because you decide it must. And that decision begins the moment you close your eyes and hand your subconscious the blueprint of your future. Repeat it to yourself, I am worthy, I am abundant, I am aligned. Say it until it feels like truth. Feel it until it lives in your bones. Live it until the world has no choice but to reflect it back to you. This is not about luck. This is not about chance. This is about power. The power that has been inside you all along. The power to create wealth, to create freedom, to create the life you were meant to live. And that power is waiting for you tonight, in the silence of your sleep. So I ask you, when you lay your head down, will you drift into emptiness, or will you step into creation? Will you sleep like the world sleeps, or will you sleep like the wealthy? Awake in your dreams, alive in your vision, unstoppable in your alignment. Choose now. Act now. Begin tonight, because tomorrow belongs to those who plant it in their sleep. And remember this final truth. Money doesn't just come when you work for it, it comes when you dream for it, believe for it, align with it. So dream wisely, believe deeply, align fully, because the future you desire is already waiting, whispering to you in the silence of the night. And the punchline is this: if you dare to manifest while you sleep, you will wake up not just in the morning, but in the life you've always wanted.